Hey guys, it's Vince with Mastering the Method, and today we are printing with Rafts and Simplify and the Method. Now, I have to be honest, many of you already know Cloud Print prints really beautiful rafts. I really wanted to do this video really to test this feature because I do print a lot of really small detailed parts, and we know that rafts are really the best way to go in terms of keeping those bottom surface layers nice. And of course, working with separation, that's something that we always want to look at. Right now, he's laying down, of course, the first layer. And as soon as we get into a little more depth in this print, I'll come back because I certainly don't want to bore you with watching him go real slow. Once we get that raft down, I'll definitely come back and we'll take it from there. Okay, guys, we're at 11% now. And you can see what those rafts look like. Simplify's got a totally different design compared to what Cloud Print uses, and many of you are already used to that. We'll let him continue. See if I can come over this side, maybe get refocused. There we go. Okay, stay tuned. I'll film it later on as we start building upon these. 26% now, and the raft looks amazing. And again, one thing for certain, the method does have some beautiful print quality once, of course, it's set up correctly. I'm going to cover the settings for this. It will really be interesting to most of you. Okay guys, we're inside of Simplify and I'm covering the settings for my raft prints. Now again, dealing with extruder 2A because again I'm dealing with just PVA. If you're dealing with the model extruder and you're doing rafts, you're definitely going to want to adjust at least your speed setting. You'll have to play with other areas of that. But if you're doing PVA rafts, when you're doing any type of supports and whatnot out of PVA, this will definitely come in handy. So again, here's the settings for extruder 2A, nothing major here. My coasting distance is very, very low at 1 millimeter. Again, my filament is dry. I've already covered that in previous videos. You can check that out. Layer height's 0.1 millimeter. You can see here my first layer height has been adjusted from 130% down to 90. Now, of course, I did that because anyone familiar with Simplify realizes that when you print rafts with Simplify, even though you have your first layer print speed, what you think is set at the lowest speed, it's not. If you print a raft, it's going to print even slower than your first layer print speed percentage. Why is that? Because they want a nice solid support structure going into the print bed. So that being said, you do not want to suffocate your extruder by having the print height too high to where the nozzle is essentially suffocated when it makes compression with the print bed when it releases its filament. So I would say 95 to 96, 97% of method users usually deal with that at some capacity and say, oh, I don't know why I'm getting jams. It usually deals with that in conjunction probably with assisted leveling. We come over here then to first layer speed, nothing different there, 15%. My additions, of course, I've got the raft on. Above raft speed, nothing here has changed from the stock settings within Simplify. Then I go to infill. Once again, I'm just showing you everything now. Iron top layers. The only percentage I've dropped was ironing extrusion modifier. I dropped that down to 2% so you do not have any jams. We are going to be using PVA, which is no ooze, which means usually you're not going to have that fine control you'll have with the model extruder. Drop it at a very low percentage. You see I'm using 2% here. Once you dial it in, you can always buffer it up slightly and fine tune it, but make sure you do not get jams. Once again, you do not want to suffocate the extruder. Coming over to support, again, nothing here has been changed. Temperature, now on my extruder, I run it at 218. You'll test it with your printer, see what you like. I'm not getting ooze at this because the filament is dry. Cooling have not touched. Speeds, once again, I've only adjusted default printing speed at 1,000 millimeters a minute, and that is only using PVA extruder 2. So again, if I'm using the model extruder, you can adjust that speed to whatever you like, but pay attention. Travel speed, again, I modified 3,700 millimeters a minute. That's for my rapid motion. Again, that means when the printer is not printing, but you guys can fine tune it to what you see fit. Output. Now, my global offset for my z-axis I set to negative 0.03 millimeters. Now, why did I do that? I usually run 0.05 millimeters, and that usually is okay. However, with the actual raft, again, the thing to consider is Simplify usually will build a more robust raft in that it releases more extrusion. So with that, if you're going to have a thicker width on your extrusion, you might also run into a filament jam because you're once again compressing that filament into the extruder, suffocating it. So again, pay attention to this. I find that negative 0.03 is usually going to be okay with that, especially at what I sent the print height at. Again, you'll do your own adjustments, but I can tell you're pretty much on the right track. Coming over to script, nothing. Other, these settings have not changed from what I've had set up. And advanced. And that's it, guys. Again, this setting is mandatory to give you that smoothness you're looking for. Again, I'm just panning over, just laying it down. All right, guys, about finishing up. Okay, we are at 39%. And I'm hoping you guys can see we are laying down some of the layers for the actual components. And again, these are just spacers, just wanting to see what he can do. See if I can refocus. So far, we are looking clean. 66%, and you can definitely see our spacers are looking great. Okay guys, we have got the print completed and we're going to just remove it real quick. Let's take a look at how this raft came out. Okay, got some light. Okay, so we can see the fill on the raft, of course with the brim. Got a little crossover string here, but the parts came out amazing. And again, we are using the ironing feature on the top layer. Let's see how this separates. Okay, got one. Let's see if I can carefully do the other. Oh, that one's really stuck. There we go. Okay. And again, this is the stock height difference between the raft. I believe it's 0.5 millimeter. Let's see how these surfaces are. Then we have a little piece right there. Feels like just a tiny piece. And you can definitely see a surface quality difference. Just move this off. Oh yeah, you can definitely see a surface quality difference from where you're actually printing on the bed itself. And there you go. These are amazing out of PVA. Very, very tiny, tiny little ooze speck right there. But the finish is just amazing. See how this one separates? I was a little apprehensive to try the 0.5 millimeter height difference, but so far Simplify has been right on. Oh yeah, that separated perfect. Got a little bit on the edge right here. Just take that in, right off. And you can see if we got a little piece right there too. Just touch it. It should come right off. Piece more. And these are beautiful. 0.1 millimeter layer height. And This is just amazing. Now my PVA temperature, I did go up to 218 degrees Celsius, and I find that it just layers it so much smoother. You can see how the ironing feature is on the top. Very, very nice. Definitely a slightly different finish compared to printing on the bed itself. But if you're doing smaller parts, guys, these rafts, they make it so much better, and you can see how that layer separation is. We've got a little bit of inlay fill. You can see where the texture was, but this is definitely the way to go. If you're doing really fine or small parts, you don't have to then worry about these parts falling or, again, having issues with bonding to the bed. Amazing. So again, I would recommend the 0.5 millimeter print height. You might want to go slightly higher depending upon if the part is smaller, but overall, the quality of the raft, amazing. Definitely a different print quality in terms of what the cloud print software gives you, but you can see the finished products, what we're left with as far as the actual finish on these products. So again, guys, I hope that this video has been helpful. I hope you guys try the raft setting, at least if you guys are working with Simplify. It's definitely the way to go. Again, if you're dealing with smaller parts or you're worried more about the finish on the actual bottom of the surface. Once again, if you do have any comments, please leave them and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, thumbs up are greatly appreciated. They definitely help the channel. Thank you all for support. Take care.